a major geopolitical shift may be happening right now. So according to the new report from Axios, the United States and Iran has reportedly close to signing a new deal, like agreement tied to sanctions, oil export, and Strait of Hormuz. That's a very positive thing. But if true, this could impact a lot of stuff. Global oil prices, Middle East stability, US election, and Israel-Iran tensions, and the world economy in all. So, but what exactly is inside this proposed deal? Why does the Strait of Hormuz matter so much to Donald Trump, and why are critics already calling this a controversial? So let me break this down step by step so you can understand it very clear what's really happening behind this deal. So according to the report, the proposed agreement includes several key points. The first thing is there would reportedly be a 60 days ceasefire extension. That's a positive thing. But again, that means both sides would pause escalation and continue negotiations rather than move towards the direct conflict. And the number two is the Strait of Hormuz would reopen fully or not. So this is a massive, because Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important shipping routes in the entire world. Around 20% of the global oil passes through it alone. So that really regulates the entire earth. Now, if that route is disrupted, the oil price could hike, shipping costs increases, inflation can rise globally instantly. So reopening that could mean stabilize the energy market almost instantly and immediately. Now the third is Iran will reportedly be allowed to sell oil more freely again. Now that's important because sanctions have severely restricted Iran's oil export for years and years. Now, more Iranian oil entering in markets could increase global supply, lower oil prices, ease pressure on the energy markets. So that's a very positive thing. But critics also argue this could give Iran billions in additional revenue. Well, that's kind of good for Iran, for their economy. But what Trump wants from this deal, honestly? There are several possible reasons why Trump is behind this. Economic pressure, lower oil price help consumers. If gas prices drop, inflation could cool instantly. Consumers' confidence could improve. Economic pressure heading into election may ease more. So that's politically valuable for Donald Trump alone. So avoiding war, a direct conflict with Iran, would be extremely costly for the United States. Military escalation in Gulf could disrupt the global trade, damage financial markets, hold the US into another prolonged conflict. A temporary agreement buys time in this. So that's one of the biggest reasons. So strategic optics is Donald Trump has long promoted himself as a deal maker. But let's see what he's going to do now. A high-profile Iran agreement would allow him to claim he prevented the conflict, he stabilized the oil market, he achieved diplomacy without any concessions. Now, supporters would likely frame this as a strength through negotiations. Well, Donald Trump is doing whatever it takes for his election to become on the positive side. Now, the most controversial thing is very crazy. Not everyone is happy about this. Critics argue the deal could empower Iran financially and strategically. Well, that is good for Iran because it really helps their economy. Now, Iran gains the revenue, regional influence could expand, military funding concern increase. These are the critics, they are just keep on telling. Basically, that's Israel. So Israel is expected to closely monitor the situation. For years, Israeli leadership has warned against agreement. They believe give Iran too much flexibility. Well, Israel has a lot of problem with Iran. So some analysts also worry that could resemble earlier nuclear negotiations that critics claim delayed rather than solve the core issue. Now, another concern is what happens after the 60 days extension. This is one of the biggest things that we have to think. Is this a short-term pause or not? Or the beginning of a longer-term agreement? So right now, many details remain very unclear here. So they are only focusing on 60 days, but I don't know what's really cooking inside. So let's talk specifically about the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway between Iran and Oman, despite its size, it's one of the most economically critical choke points on the entire earth. So every single day, massive oil tankers passes through it and natural gas shipments move through that narrow passage. And global energy market depends on it, on that passage. So if that Strait of Hormuz closes, as we know, oil prices, they can spike, market panics, supply chain suffers, and the inflation just goes higher, so which no one likes. So that's why even rumors about Hormuz affect financial markets. So reopening and stabilize the route would be viewed as a major economic win globally and ease everything down and calm down every single thing all around the world. So this potential deal could impact several areas simultaneously. Energy markets. More oil supply usually means lower prices, lower inflation. Global inflation will just cool down. US politics. Foreign policy success has often become the major campaign talking point. So Middle East diplomacy, regional alliance could shift depending on how the deal evolves. So countries like Saudi Arabia, Israel, China, Russia will all be watching this carefully or not, because Iran sits at the center of the several global strategic interests right now in this war. Since the war started, Iran is basically taking control of every important thing around the world. So right now, this agreement is not officially finalized. It's just a rumor, but if the Axios report is accurate, could become one of the biggest geopolitical development of the entire year. So the key question is now, will the deal actually be signed or not, or is just a bluff? What concessions are hidden in the details, and will this create stability or not, or only a delay and a larger conflict? One thing is certain for sure: when oil, Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz are involved, the entire world pays attention to it. So if you found this breakdown very useful, don't forget to subscribe for more info, more geopolitical situation and economic analysis, what's happening around the world, and we break down in a very transparent way. Thank you. See you in the next video.